Taylor, who has resigned, if everyone did not know. It's minutes of the regular township board meeting, April 10th. Motion to receive as is, corrections,
I
errors.
will make that motion to receive as is, April 10th, board minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amber. All discussion on being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Minutes of the special board meeting, April 26th, 2024. Corrections, changes, additions, as is.
I'll make that motion. I didn't see any changes to April's special board meeting.
Minutes.
26.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amber again. Thank you very much. Discussion. None being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Amend the agenda. I do not have anything to amend today. Does anybody else?
I'd like to add, insurance, discussion
Okay,
for the building with the hail. I'd like to add a short-term rental update just for the benefit of the public and then, Amazon, township account.
okay. Where do you want to add that at? Just on a new
That
business?
can be under, yeah, new business.
So you got Amazon, short term. And insurance, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, very, we'll do that after new trustee appointment, closed session, or new trustee appointment, I'm sorry. Is that it from anybody else? Good, public comment. Welcome everyone today. We haven't had this many people here in a little while, so thank you. Nobody?
Hi,
Okay,
David,
yes, ma'am.
is this a time for making nominations?
Nominations for public comment.
Or, well, I mean, is that a separate agenda item?
No, go ahead. It's public comment. We have a letter, Ellen, or,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ellen, that you sent. Is that what you're referring
You
to?
suggested that I come and present it.
Oh, we have received it, and all the board members actually have a copy, so,
You don't
but,
have a copy?
no,
Do we
all
all
the board
have it?
members have a
Okay.
copy.
There's
So
also a
that's-
copy.
But you can still say something later.
Well, I really, I think it's a real good, nomination, and I saw on the list of applicants that one of my points was, I think you need a woman on the board from a woman's standpoint. It's been a while since you had anybody, if ever, and, I think they bring a valuable viewpoint, and, I hope that other people feel the same way.
Okay,
And I think Libby is an outstanding candidate in that category. So, are you going to read the letters of nomination when it comes to that?
no, we have copies.
Well, how do people know anything about them then?
We have copies of all the resumes right up here if anyone would like to look at them.
have copies of the letters. The letters and everything are in
Yeah,
those
they're all right
packets.
here on the
There's
front table.
2 packets of copies right there if anybody wants to take them to look them over as well. They're.
And they're online too, I
They're
remember.
online.
Not all of them, obviously, because I didn't see Ellen's. Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen came in to me
Because I don't
today,
know all those.
Okay.
this morning.
Oh, okay, I just,
But it is in there.
I mean, that's really nice.
I think it's
She's
at the very,
recommended
very
me.
bottom, right?
No.
And I haven't seen it, so I
didn't
just
know you
wanted
didn't
to
see it.
read
Well,
it.
okay, that's why I said I received your letter and I didn't know what you meant. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
Oh,
so I would like to see the letters and she was recommending.
If they came in
Thank
last
you.
night
I
or
just-
this morning,
no,
they're
I
up there,
just
yeah.
was curious, because
Well, I can't get it off my iPad. Let me see if I can get it off my.
Well, it should be there now, right? Amber,
Yeah. let me see.
is there a copy of it in that packet, Amber?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
there's a copy right now that they're looking for.
Sure, I mean, I know.
Everyone right here. I'm very pleased to present the name of Libby Schleifer to the Onekama Township Board to fill the remainder of the unexpired term of L. Taylor. I've known Libby for a number of years and have found her to be an enthusiastic supporter of the broader Onekama area. Spending summers with family on the south side of the Portage Lake, she now resides year-round on the north side. Libby is a fair-minded person who looks carefully at all aspects of an issue or problem before making a decision. She is not reluctant to ask the hard questions. I believe that having the perspective of a woman on the board will enhance deliberations in a positive and creative way. Her resume itself is a testament to her well-rounded abilities and experiences and demonstrates the value she will bring to the board. Sincerely, Ellen Samsel. I will say one thing on her resume that I'm especially proud of is that, Bill Milliken, was one of a Republican that I felt I could vote for. And she worked for Bill Milliken, so that's part of her, background and experience in government, so I highly recommend, Libby Schleifer.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
You had said that I can present the farmer's market at this, I don't,
Public comment, sure. Yeah,
okay,
now's the time
that's
to
at
do
the
it.
end
Oh, yeah, I don't care what you do now or
here.
at the end.
There's public comment at the end too, if you want to, it's up to you.
It's up to
No.
you. It's up to you.
Okay, can I just go now? Then we can rest. You want copies?
Yeah, okay,
You want a few copies?
sure.
So you can see what I actually drew up to work with? Well, I have three.
That's okay. We can copy.
One's mine. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. So as everybody probably knows, since I post on Facebook, the village turned us down for having a farmer's market bigger than the one that we've had down there on the side of the building with one or two vendors. We have a lot of people that are interested in participating. I wasn't able to present that there, so I've spoken with Dave and asked him if I could present here. For you.
up a little?
Me?
Yeah.
I've asked Dave if I could present here for the farmer's market. And can I bring up the property name?
Yeah, it's fine. She's gonna talk about the property across the street that we're trying to get purchased at this time, but do not own.
Yeah, we had a chance to discuss with him if we can start before it's purchased or,
No,
no, okay, I can reach out to him too. He had said in the letter that we could use the property until the county or the township purchases it. Dave and them, I'm asking if they will allow us to have the farmer's market there so we can have more vendors. A different array, because down there, they only want syrup and produce. Over here, there are people that work out of their homes and do crafts. Or make baked goods or whatever, and they know all the rules, so I've asked them. I think we need something to where people can stop and just have an array of things. Not just a couple, two tables. So what I'm asking for, and Dave asked me too, to make up maybe some thoughts about what we could do with the building. I was thinking about, I forget what they're called right at the moment, sorry. Where you have people come in and they have their stuff set up in there all the time. Booths. And then put produce in there also for the winter months. Because they store them for a long time on the farms, you know that. And then bring those in there for sale too, so we can have a farmer's market longer. I'm presenting it to be done on a Friday afternoon, like 3 to 7. That way the people traveling up to tourists have an ability to come or on your way home from work. Do you guys have any questions for me? I
no.
gave you everything that I would use for determining.
So when we get to that point, this is what you would use, correct?
That's what I would use.
So the board has not talked about this, obviously, because we don't own the property yet, so.
Right.
Let's say, I don't know how soon before we're gonna own it, and then he's gonna give him permission to do it, that'd be up to him right now.
And then maybe continue.
I'd like to have once the township owns that, our insurance company needs to look at it.
Yeah.
And so does the attorney, but I'm fully supportive of the farmer's market. Our farm used to go down there. And they may come back if we do it somewhere else, but I think that's a great, draw to the community.
I think it's a simple fix to draw some more
It's just
people.
Friday, right? You're doing it
Just for Friday afternoon, or late
Friday,
afternoon.
whatever, afternoon.
And if you do baked goods or anything like that, they have to fill out these forms for the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. I didn't put that in your packet, but I have them here.
You can still do.
Can we get a copy of it?
Of the Michigan?
When you get a chance,
Yeah.
Okay.
that'd be great.
Can I email them to you, Dave?
I'll share them with everybody.
So how many people came in support of the farmer's market? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's an easy thing to bring to the community.
I think it's a great idea. Now, will there be any preference for local people to sell theirs? Because I see their space is limited and it does say that in the state of Michigan. But is there preference for like our local farmers and the people in this area to
Yes,
be in there
please.
first?
Yes, they're asking for it.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Now, there's only the two that are down by the, Yellow Dog right now, and they don't seem to be interested in joining, but they might if we get it going. That's my hopes. So,
Okay,
that's it for me.
did I give you Mike's number to talk to him?
I'll get it from you.
Okay,
I'll call you. I have it somewhere in an email, but if you have it readily available.
okay, just text me later and I'll text it with, to you.
Okay, thank you.
What was the reason the village rejected it?
I have no idea.
Well,
Me. They don't like to hear from me. So
Here,
when I hate.
we'll stop though, cause this is public comment.
I was gonna
Oh, we'll get into that, okay?
when
No, I don't, I mean, just, well, I understand, but you can talk to her privately, but let's do public
Okay.
comment, okay?
Okay.
I don't know, I wasn't there at the meeting.
Neither was Roger, so we can't throw Roger in that either, cause he wasn't there to stop that.
No, okay, thank you, Noel, very
You're
much.
welcome.
Anybody else for public
Is
comment?
there anybody who's online? There's 3 people attending that'd like to make any comments. If so, unmute yourself.
Pass, okay, we move on. Financial report, revenue and expense report.
So, the financial reports, like we said last week, we kind of tried to streamline them there in the packet. If anybody had any questions on them.
I don't, no. Bob? No, okay. Trial balance, same thing? No questions? Good, I guess. Clerk's report.
So not many updates, but Mandy is completed her voter training, so she'll be able to do QVF and register voters. And she is working on being able to sign checks and have her accounts, so
Okay. we're
She's
moving
catching it up,
forward.
yeah.
Okay.
that's it.
She was in here, I watched part of it, it's kind of a dry,
A long training. It took her 2 weeks.
I watched part of it that one Friday and I went, oh my God.
Yeah.
It drive me crazy, so
Oh,
for her to sit
yeah.
through that, yeah, I get it. So, okay. Questions for anybody, for Amber, from anybody? No? Mr. Dance, I know you haven't had a meeting, so is anything new?
Treasurer's report.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot all about you. Treasurer's
It was
report.
in the packet. The only thing I wanna mention is, the transition to the new software is, gonna happen and we're gonna go live May 28th with training to follow, so.
Okay,
If they're able to work us in, that's a good thing. It'll keep it out of the summer and, it worked out good in Amber and Mandy and everybody's schedule, so.
okay.
That should be really helpful, I think, moving forward, so. And then, 2024 summer tax bills will be mailed out at the end of June and can be paid starting July 1st.
Again, they are due to, when they're mailed by July first, and you have the last day to pay. A lot of people still
Yes.
confuse that, so. I guess tell them when they're due when they're mailed, you have until that time to do it, and, thank you for fixing my computer, by the way.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. Dance,
Okay, well, this shouldn't take long. We didn't have a meeting since didn't realize that till I got up here. There is gonna be a Headley rollback this year, $0.0495 amount, that's about $75,000, which is not a lot, but again, Kids Safety Day is gonna be, June 15th. And that's gonna be held at the high school now in Manistee. It was gonna be down at First Street at the boat ramps, but that has evolved. Had 911 board meeting. Code Red is available for anybody and everybody. If you wanna sign up to get those alerts on your phone, you can go to Central Dispatch and go online and get that.
Did anybody get an alert about this last storm ahead of time?
I
don't
did
know.
not get, but I'm not signed up for it. Generally, if something goes on, I get the phone call direct. I don't know if anybody got,
I did nothing.
yeah.
Nobody got anything.
I'm not
Nobody got-
aware.
I'm
of
just
anybody
wondering
for
is
the-
all,
for
'cause
the
I haven't
hailstorm,
signed
that's
up
for
yet.
sure.
So where do you sign up?
You can go to 911 Central Dispatch. And you can get, text notification.
Okay,
basically, that's about all I've got. We do have a special airport authority meeting coming up next week, Tuesday. And we are going to revisit the boutique air, that I reported to you and see if we're going to stay that route or try to go a different route.
Oh, you didn't pick one, yeah, I thought
Oh, we did.
What happened?
We picked boutique and
they bowed out.
no, there's some concerns and I don't wanna get over my skis on it. I think we'll be looking at Contour again, which was the jet service, and they have a lot more seat capacity. Total enplanements for that could be up to 37,000, which is, we need to get to the 10,000 enplanements to get the $1 million from, DOT. And if that gives us a lot more money to, take care of stuff at the airport.
So if you switch the other jet, would it still go to Chicago?
It would still go to Chicago.
And just Chicago?
It would just be Chicago, as far as I know, but again, until we have the meeting,
Okay,
do our thing, then we're gonna have to submit a letter to DOT and then see where they take it. We'll go from there because, we passed the deadline. We did what we were supposed to do and now we're trying to readdress it. And DOT has some concerns as well, so.
okay.
Looks like they broke ground on the medical care facility.
Yes, it has, I think it's the 22nd is the groundbreaking. The
Last
formal one.
Okay.
21st at 2:00. Well, that's long overdue. It's too bad all that couldn't happen prior to the COVID because the COVID did to that whole program. It's
How much more?
inflation. Oh, it's probably, I could pull a number out of thin air, but it'd be nothing more than that. A lot, millions of dollars.
30%. Probably. Question, so can we talk about recycling over here a little bit? So we did, obviously, we withdrew from Mr. Seymour's property.
Formally.
Yeah. So we voted and said, we're not gonna pursue that. So can we talk about pursuing down to the other property on the end where the building is? Cause there's enough room for the
Yeah,
trailers.
we can have that dialogue for sure.
Okay. That way it's not on the fairgrounds, which I know they still don't want there, correct?
Yeah, but
It's really, the last 2 weeks I've seen it, they used quite a bit. They used it the other night though, the Lions did, or something.
the blue building,
No, they used the Lions Den for something. And that's the most
Oh, yeah,
people
yeah.
I've seen there all winter. But
yeah, but the Lions again, the Lions,
Quarter paddle, that was quarter
It
paddle.
was quite busy
Was
the
busy,
entire
yeah,
time.
yeah.
from
the
3
Lions don't
until
want it
9.
there and neither does the fair boards, at least where it is currently.
I get it. So if we could talk about that, cause Carl asked me, I'm meeting with her again tomorrow.
That's a good reminder. I'll take a look at the road on the way home.
Okay. I've already talked to them about doing something different for what they wanted to do, so. Questions for? No, I don't know.
Anyone?
Anybody in the audience? Go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am?
Do you have any comments on the medical care project beyond what was in the paper?
No, it's a shame, like I just mentioned, it's a shame it couldn't have been done prior to COVID. Of course, the vote didn't happen. The vote happened during COVID. So, it's just unfortunate set of circumstances. I mean, anybody who has anything bonded their building is in the same boat. MAPS is in the same thing with what they're doing on the school renovation, so. Medical care is long overdue to have the improvements to do what they need to have done. There's gonna be 72 beds when it's done. And most of those will be private rooms. There'll be a few schools, but nothing like it has been. Anybody else?
Going.
Okay.
Gone. Wow, look at
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks, Charlie. See you later. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. New business. New trustee appointment. If you notice, it says closed session for discussion if an applicant requested that. I added that after talking to MTA and said if an applicant did request to have their resume or whatever discussed, and they wanted it done in closed session, they could do that. That's why it's on there that way. So if they want to, they don't have to, and I don't think we want to. We don't want to go into closed session either. So that being said, the reason for this is Mr. Taylor's resignation last month to fill the vacancy through November election. We have received 6 applications for the position. Libby Slash Bars, thank you. David Gleason, Cindy Wangbeckler, Ralph Mortensen, Matthew Kiefer, and Patrick Murphy. They've been on the website. They're here if you want to look at them. They're all very highly qualified individuals, all six of them for the position. I'll say that. It's probably the most people we've ever had apply for a position on a trustee. And I think everyone on here, if I'm not mistaken, is registered as a candidate. Is that correct?
Nope.
Oh, on this list, who is not?
Ralph Mortensen, and then Libby is still
I'm
working on
registered
hers.
as an
as a-
independent.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, okay, I knew that,
So
Libby,
there's
so
not her yet.
I'm jumping ahead. Ralph didn't, there's actually gonna be 5 that are going to be running for 2 spots at least, or 6.
There is one more that didn't apply on here.
That's what I thought. So there's gonna be 6 individuals running for the 2 spots in the November election.
So there's a candidate that filed paperwork for November, but didn't want the interim.
It didn't. I couldn't get a hold of them to notify them. I tried.
Okay,
David, has any thought ever been given to expand the board and, have more board members? Since there are people interested, it's probably in the Constitution or
I don't,
bylaws or
I
whatever.
think we're maxed out townships.
If
As
you
far
go
as I
to
know.
Charter Township,
Charter,
then
you
you
get
go
7.
7,
Charter, you could do 7.
4
but-
trustees.
Pardon?
Charter Township, you could go to 7, but regular township is set at 5. By statute, basically.
Well, who counts as the 5?
The clerk, the treasurer, the supervisor, and 2 trustees.
Well, that's a shame.
Why?
That they take a spot where the public could have more input.
I'm the public.
I know you are.
Oh, I mean, but,
So are we.
okay, but I get your point, but you think you'd have 7, I get what you're saying. We're not a charter township, so we're at
Okay.
5.
That answers my question.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm taking it must be different for the village?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Village township or village clerk and village treasurer do not vote.
Over there, and they have 6 trustees.
Oh, no, they gotta have 7. They have an odd amount. You can't
Well, they have
have
6 trustees and then Roger.
president. Okay, so 7-member board.
Yeah.
And the 2 don't vote. The 2 do vote here. Treasurer, clerk vote here.
So it's different from village, I'm just asking,
Yeah,
because I
absolutely.
didn't know that,
Mhm.
village to township, okay.
Totally different. That's just the way it is. I mean. And David did not come up with those rules, just so you know. Don't
Okay.
put that out there that I made.
No, I
this
didn't
rule.
understand those 2, I've never researched that.
So that being said, so as the board have everyone here had enough time to look at all these? Would someone feel confident that they want to do something today? Do they want to go into next month? I'm leaving it up to the board to tell me what they would like to do. They're all highly qualified. I don't think you can make a bad choice no matter who you pick. And it is just to fulfill the remainder of Al's term. They all still have to run, even if they are appointed, that person still has to run in the general election. That being said, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I think we should appoint somebody. I think all the candidates have really good resumes. I do think a lot of the issues that we have here in the township are land use, planning and zoning based, and I think there's one candidate who's got more experience in that than anybody else. So I would like to nominate Cindy Wangbeckler for the open seat.
Okay,
Well said.
is there a second by Bob? Okay, thank you. Discussion from anybody?
I was gonna ask some questions just to try to see. I don't know if I can ask
You,
a couple of the candidates here just to see.
it's up for discussion right now, even though we're.
Only
I think that's
because
appropriate.
I know that, being a trustee, I kind of like to see people in the township and,
Yeah.
you know, I like it when they're in here. It's nice that they're involved, so I was just gonna ask, cause I know I have a couple people in here who, you know, are you able to come in? Are you able to really learn? Because right now, with Bob leaving on the next one, currently, one of our biggest things is cemeteries. Bob is the only trustee that knows how to do that. I'm learning, however, whatever trustee comes in is going to have to learn hands-on from Bob. And he's the type of person that's going up and, you know, even changing dog bags at the park and stuff like that, that all of us as a board, we have to work together in. So I guess I wanna ask the candidates that are here, if that's something that you're up for, is learning and being hands-on with the other trustees, being in here, being, receptive to the public. And I see two of them, so I just kind of wanna ask.
So with my understanding, knowing the difference between township government and city government, which I was much more familiar with, I understood going in that basically the trustees are serving as the staff, if you will.
Kind of.
That, in a way, well, you are, because you don't have city manager or, that type of thing. You're all elected officials. I am retired. I do like golfing and playing pickleball and going to Spartan football games, but other than that, I'm pretty available and am a pretty hands-on person. I think with the experiences I've had, I always did more than just attend the meeting anyway. Whether it was pitching in with something or whatever. As Ed mentioned, I mean, I do have planning and zoning experience, and so, I'm, can help there if there's anything like that. I mean, just because I have some experience with it. But bottom line, yes, I'm available.
Amber, can I ask a follow-up?
Yes.
What do you do doggy bags? We do have that happen, but no.
Golden doodle, but I walk every day.
And how about Libby?
Amber, I think I'm in here and have been for the last 2.5 years, as does the board. No, I have taken an active interest in both budget meetings, special meetings. I would say that the last 2.5 years have demonstrated that I'm definitely a hands-on kind of person. And as to Vic's question, I'm married to a veterinarian.
I wanna make sure that we're taking that into consideration too, because, everyone can have experience and stuff, but a lot of people can learn too, and
You also
I
have to
think-
know your residents.
right, and that's kinda. I like you, so. I
Okay,
mean,
those are the only two candidates that are here on the list, are they not?
Mhm.
Right, okay, that's what I thought. Dave's not here.
The other thing I'd say is the nice thing about this is almost all these candidates are gonna be on the ballot, and there'll be 2 openings in November, so the public is gonna ultimately fill this seat, as they should. That's the purpose of having elections. This is for an 8-month period, so.
I don't even know, it's 8 months, May, we're
Till
already in
November, May, June, July, I guess 6 months.
May. Yeah, whatever, okay. Any other questions, or, cause I called the question, cause there's a motion and a second. You got anything? It's up for discussion. You're just sitting there. You had your chance to talk.
Hey, I'm on my way out. I'm just resting.
You have to join the training, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to train. All right, no other discussion, I'll call the question. Amber?
For the motion that's already in, yes,
Okay, Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
David, yes, I guess. So, you will have to come up here, cause we're gonna swear you in.
Right now.
yeah,
Today,
Yes,
right now.
ma'am.
I even have the oath paper, just in case.
I wasn't changing your mind.
Well, because Al's already vacated, it'd be different if Al hadn't vacated the spot, but the spot's open, and I called MTA and asked about that. And if you were here, we didn't know who was gonna be here, obviously, we didn't know what was gonna happen, if someone was here and was nominated, yeah, they get sworn in and they're gonna sit. There'll be a board member, like now, today, like in 2 minutes.
You just gotta go stand by the flag.
You really do,
Yeah, I'm not making that up.
come on up.
They had to call MTA earlier, so I'm like, can you really swear for a minute?
How about that, I actually stumped you for a minute, didn't I?
Yeah.
Threw that one under the bus.
Talk to anybody, so.
I state your name.
City of Beckley.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duty of the Onekama Township trustee.
Shorten it up, sir. And that I will
Faithfully discharge
faithfully discharge
the duties of Onekama Township trustee
Township trustee.
to the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
What's that in there? How can I borrow your pen?
Oh, I noticed.
I got a letter from her last night.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
She's gotta get her stuff.
I didn't know I had to do this.
Oh, no, how would you? You wouldn't know. I'm gonna do one thing on the agenda. I'm gonna move, no, you can come up. You're fine. I'm not doing you. I'm not causing any more
You're a
problems.
board member now,
More
so come on up.
I'm moving Molly up for assessor so they can get back to wherever they wanna go back to home. So Molly, you're up.
Good evening,
Good evening. How are you?
good,
Okay.
welcome. Our update for the year is we are looking at Portage Lake this year, so we're doing work on that, so postcards will be going out, and this will be the next township when we finish the one we're in now.
And we're going around the whole lake? Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Other
so,
than what we've already done in the village, we've already done that, we're not gonna be redundant, but we're gonna look at the water this year.
okay. Postcards going out next week, This week?
They'll go out when,
weeks, well,
in a
just
couple
so,
weeks.
you can let me know, we'll put it back, Amber can put it on Facebook page and everyone here, Libby, go on Libby, you can put it on your, maybe your Libby's lines.
I think I'm going to do one more, and then since I'm running, I don't think that that's a proper way to communicate as an.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
trying to take the high road. So I will do one more because I think people will be interested to know about Cindy and how many applications are for the various positions.
And I will say that is the most, since I've been, I don't ever remember that many people running for the 2 spots
I
for
was quite
trustees.
surprised.
Yeah, so that's very good. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
it's awesome.
and now just, so you know, there have been women on the board. At one time, there's always a woman.
I'm on the board, I'm a woman.
But no, sometimes there was 2 or 3, two. For a lot of years, there was always 2 women on the board. I don't know if there's ever 3,
Gail Drake was on the board.
but she was treasurer.
Oh, she was
We
on-
might get another woman on the next election.
That's what I'm
Bob
hoping.
wins.
So there you go. So, see, you're gonna back to, okay, anyways. Anything else, Molly? That's it?
That's
Well,
it.
thank you very much.
We're looking forward to cloud.
Okay.
Who does Molly represent? Is, and are you testing water?
No, Molly's the assessor.
Okay.
We're looking at waterfront properties.
Thank
I'm
you.
not
You didn't say
testing-
property the last time and I didn't.
I'm not testing any water.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't misinterpret that. No, we're.
No, I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Okay,
Need to-
That's a good question.
that is a good question, because if you said looking at water.
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. Amazon, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the Parks Committee and the township at times orders things from Amazon, and there's a way to set up a township account where they invoice you. prevents having to have credit cards out there. I think it works very well, so I just wanted to gauge the interest in doing that. I think it would make sense for. certain
And one
things.
more thing, also you want to pay sales taxes. When I use Amazon today, I'm paying
Correct,
sales
right.
tax.
Oh, they're charging you sales tax because you're an
I
individual.
mean, I still like to buy locally and I'm gonna get my office supplies from Guy Klein and we're gonna get stuff at the hardware store, but there's certain things that it's just easier to order off of that. So I don't know what, I just wanted to bring it up if it's something.
I'm
that's-
fine with that.
Fine with that.
Okay.
Mick, you all right with that too?
Absolutely, that'd be great.
So we'll
Okay.
get that set up.
Is there a dollar limit
Oh, we'll
without
set up.
getting approval or?
We can work through that with the purchasing policy.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got high visibility, so. Short-term rental updates, so we did a little bit of a transition this year, and, in order to kind of take some of the load off the clerk's office, plus it's a slow time for the treasurer's office. The treasurer's office is kind of handling those. And we're gonna go through this season. There's already a few things that I think the board, might wanna consider changing in the ordinance, just to make it easier, especially for people who are renewing with no changes. So after we get through the rush of rentals, we'll probably bring a proposal back to the board to maybe consider tweaking that ordinance a little bit. But I think people are getting used to it. It's kind of streamlining and I think it's gonna work out well, so.
I should ask Amber, how many are, and you're working with Jen now?
Mhm.
Okay, so how many have renewed from last year? Are we, any idea?
No idea.
There's quite a few, I bet.
I think I'd say
Getting there?
like 40.
Oh, we are, okay. Good deal.
So anyway, that's, more stay tuned on that, but, that seems to be working pretty well.
Okay.
And then the last thing I had is, I know, obviously Onekama got hit really hard with hail and the amount of damage is astounding. It breaks my heart for people that had houses and cars destroyed. We took a little bit of damage here at the township and I'm just wondering, I think the insurance adjuster was out, right, Bob, or not?
The insurance company was contacted by Dave. And he said, do all the mitigation to prevent further
Damage
damage
immediately.
to the building, which is the roof. Which has received quite a hit. And we have 3 outside, mini splits.
They got
that
destroyed.
are hail damaged beyond repair, so they have to be replaced. So that'll be another insurance thing.
Windows, right, in the back.
And no one we had 2 windows blow out in the back. That'll be, so far we've been going to get it fixed and that's. And
So I called Adam and he said, just go fix the roof immediately.
Adam's our
And all.
contact power
But
plant.
then they're gonna come in
Insurance.
and evaluate if it has.
Well, I think if there was 80-some hits, that's a temporary fix.
86 hits, holes in the roof.
Holes,
Holes.
Wow.
you know, because the roof is
It's a
different here.
membrane.
Membrane roof, it's not a steel roof, so does that have to be replaced then? Who's
I
gonna
don't
look
think
at
so.
that?
I think what's gonna happen is they patch the holes and then they put a sealer over top of it, a reflective sealer. And I think that's probably what Bob's Roofing is gonna recommend. I don't know that.
Okay, till we get
But the
that.
patches have been applied, so we're on tight. We don't need the minis right now because it's not hot or cold.
It just needs to be done. Did you forward that to Godolphin or not, the estimate that we got on that? Not yet, okay, that's fine.
That, he has to see those estimates. And he
Yeah.
has to see the one from.
We'll set them all up together.
And say I have Lakeshore Mechanical and
That Lakeshore Mechanic.
I
That's
haven't
the
gotten
one.
Bob's Roofing.
No, you wouldn't have that yet. Okay,
Okay.
next week, maybe we'll get all that and just send it to the
Put
insurance.
all of them together.
So the south and the west side of the building, everywhere the hail hit, it looked like you took a piece of rubbing compound and buffed the siding. It looks like it's got
What it
measles.
does is.
Yeah.
The paint oxidizes.
Yep,
It changes kind of from a bright red to a kind of a pinkish red. That's oxidation. When the hail hits it, it takes off the oxidation back to the bright red. So every little hail hit, you see, it looked like somebody threw oil on it.
We're not gonna show it.
I'm asking the question whether
Turn
they
that.
cover repainting it, because we might as well see if they will.
If you're gonna make a claim, you might as well go with
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
it's very visible from both the south and the west side. I don't think the north or the east
No.
got anything, but.
Well, call. the
We'll
insurance
see,
and ask
okay,
them.
I'll ask them, Adam.
Have you had an adjuster out yet? They should pick all that stuff up.
No, they haven't. No.
We don't have an adjuster.
That's nothing that needs immediate mitigation, but they should look at it when they do come out.
I don't think he's gonna send it, so far, he just said, go ahead and do it.
So far, he just said fix it.
We need to make
give
sure
us
they're
the
gonna pay
bills.
for that, if that's something they're gonna do.
Can I have the name of your insurance company so I can have
Michigan,
them?
Michigan Municipal, no, it's town, it's government.
I know
insurance.
it's different.
No, it's different,
It was a joke.
I know, but they are very good, I mean, he's always been very good. Okay. That answers that, okay, I'm good with that, cost, property purchase, so we just have to draw up. I have Tom, I've asked him, he's gonna draw up a purchase agreement. Mike would like, he will, I think, let us use his, I'm sorry. Mike will let us, he's gonna volunteer the use, I'm sorry.
The owner might.
The owner, Mike Garrett, is gonna volunteer the use of his architect to basically draw up to redo that or what we want and for free. So, and he wanted to be involved, so he offered to use his architect, and I said, well, that's a real good idea. I don't know what to do if the buildings, I'm gonna have a builder look at it. I don't know if the buildings even say, well, we were in there the other day, the well,
Already looked at it.
I did take pictures of the inside of it too.
so that's gonna be an issue right there. The well is, working. Power's on, believe it or not.
If he's gonna drop like pickleball courts or anything, the school currently already has plans to do pickleball courts, so that might be something we might
We
wanna
need to-
hold off on if the school is already
We need to
building
take
it.
time and.
We need to take time, and
rush.
no, there's no rush to do this, so that's what I'm saying, they're talking about doing it up there by the softball
Mhm.
diamond for the girls. Need to get this all worked out before we just jump into something, right? I agree.
Before you use the
Farmer's
property, you
market.
gotta buy it.
That's the most important thing right now, so I'm working on that to get the purchase agreement done. Mike's been busy, he was up here for the hailstorm and then left Sunday morning, never knew it hailed. Lives out the point. Well, you never had hail, did you, Libby? No, none, and Vic either. He was out there in Lake Michigan, drove out of town through Bear Lake, never even knew it hailed. So it's a kind of a strange thing, but that's the update on that. That's all I have. Cost recovery ordinance.
So I sent to the attorney the, example ordinance that, Rob, the fire chief, had. I found two or three others, and I sent up some information. He also looked up some ordinances and he kind of massaged them into a solid draft for us to look at. So I just wanted to include that in the packet, so not to make a decision on it today, but I think we should all take a look at that and come back maybe to the next meeting with markups that we wanna talk about and do for that particular ordinance. There's also, it shows as appendix B, but it should be attachment A, on some of the costs, that would be updated annually depending on if they change. We want to take a good look at those and make sure they agree, but I read through it, it looked like it's in fairly decent shape. I had a few things I thought might need to be changed, but
Okay,
if we could bring comments back to the next meeting,
how about, we'll have that for the next meeting. I know a couple people, Libby asked about, you wanted to look at that too, right? It was in the.
I wanted some statistics.
Oh,
and I-
statistics, that's,
On how much we would have received, a definition of resident. And I personally don't think we have enough information on how it will impact our township. And I would like to have more statistics. If we'd had this in place a year ago, what did it cost us not to have it? What would it have cost us to have it? How much are we paying a third party? Those are all questions and I would want a definition of what a resident is.
yeah, that's why I said, well, why don't we put it, and mark up that thing, bring it back here.
No.
Okay. Is that okay? Go
I'm
ahead,
trying to
Cindy.
remember, I thought he had done that at the one meeting he was at.
It
Or
was-
was it just for that one year?
No, that was,
No, it's a different township.
different
It was him.
township.
No, that's who came with him, but I thought he had
No, he
talked
did
about it.
not.
He only, okay.
He just
So I'm
had the
confusing that it was the
information.
township that said that.
Yes, he
Okay.
did not have direct. I asked at that point.
Well, that's the old place to have clay. It's basically to do.
yeah, I mean, you'd have to see if he's got that kind of statistical data.
Right, well, that's Rob. Well, he's not here, so some, I don't, you know,
Right.
it was the other gentleman talked about what they collected.
Right, but I
So-
thought he applied it to us.
Yeah, and there's no Rob is anxious, but there's no rush, and just want to get it right and not have to go back and revisit it, so it's just, if we can start marking it up, we've got a good base now, I think it's more appropriate.
Right, and Libby's responses on what she was looking at, the stuff that we talked about, that's exactly right, so, okay, and we're not in a rush. That's why we're slow playing it, I mean, really. Okay. Thank you. Reports. Fire, I have received the fire report. There were 22 runs in the month of April, 10 EMS, 12 fire, 2 were in Browntown, 2 were lift assist, 3 in the Bear Lake for mutual aid. Fireboat will be in the water the week of May 6th, so it's going to be dock at the marina on Main Street behind the restaurant with no dock fees. Thank you, Onekama Marine. Fire Academy is going well for Harry Goldwater and soon will be completed. New rescue is performing well for us. Fire office window sustained hail damage. Fire board is asking that you approve Ashley Kozabowski, Kabisky, I'm saying that wrong, Kabisky, as a member of our fire department. Ashley has moved into the area village and is currently employed at Munson Hospital in Frankfurt. She would like to join. Sorry, she would like to join our department and has agreed to enroll in the EMR MFR class within the next 2 years. I've included her applications. Regards, Rob Johnson, Fire Chief. Would somebody make that
I
motion?
will make that motion.
I'll second.
And second, any discussion? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried. Okay, well, that's nice. She's younger, right? Like, that's great. We need more young people. I like lots of them. Assessor Roads, Bob, Roads.
Nothing to report. There's a real interest.
Okay,
Well, I have a concern.
I do too, so go ahead, you go
So
first.
when the previous road commission manager was here last month, he was talking about the project for 11 Mile to do more or less a full reconstruction. They were gonna straighten it out, center it up with the center line, they had to relocate utilities, yada, 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 yada. The new road commission manager, we asked Spicer Group, the engineers in Manistee, to reach out to them to kind of review the plans to help the township protect its interests. And it sounds like the plan is very much different than what the old road commission manager was saying. And so I think, and the old road commission manager said it wasn't gonna happen until 2025. The impression that Sean from Spicer got was that they might still try to do it this year. So I told David about that. I think we need to have a meeting with the road commission, include Spicer and figure out what the actual plan for that road is.
So now we're not talking about moving the trees or?
Well,
or
I
moving
don't
poles?
know.
Okay.
He was making
Yeah.
it sound like it was gonna be what they call a log job and that they weren't really gonna do much with the base. It's got clay underneath it. They can't pave over clay. So I'm concerned that I don't want them to get too far down this path where they're gonna be irritated that, we're little less than them. So
Well,
I think a meeting sooner rather than later is appropriate to kind of.
how about if I call Brad tomorrow, we set a meeting on it?
And I'd like to have Sean there so he can understand what's going on. We have a great partnership with the road commission. I'm not trying to undermine that. I just feel like when we're doing these big expensive jobs, we need to have a professional engineer that's an advocate for the township that can help to critique what's going on there.
I totally agree, because you go back in history and that would have played out.
Yeah.
I got a letter, not a letter, something from an attorney the other day questioning 11 Mile and who had the contract and who, it didn't come to me, it went to them. But they CC'd me a copy of the back and I went, okay, none of this has even happened yet. So I think I know where it came from, but I'll
So
let
do you
them
wanna
be-
set up that meeting?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think it's critical because if they're in the process of designing right now, we need to make sure we.
I agree.
Can put up on that stuff. That's all.
Okay, I'll call Brad. When is the next meeting, Bob?
That one today,
Okay,
another month from now.
well, I'll just call him tomorrow. I don't wanna go to the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should try to do something next week, even if that works out.
That'll be fun. Okay. Harbor Commission.
Don't have much. We didn't have a quorum, so we didn't have a meeting.
Oh, that's right, okay. Channel depth? Any idea? They would say, no, it's okay? So
Yeah,
far?
everyone, I haven't heard anyone say it hasn't, so.
Okay,
And the DNR ramp, the permit, I think, is moving along, so.
okay,
The state had a question which was answered to their satisfaction, so.
okay. And I might as well say, so I called the guy about our sign that they wanted the $5,000 for permit and talked to the guy that gave Jim the okay last year, and that's actually in a letter, that was in an email.
It was an email.
That they okayed it with no fee. And that guy left. The new guy then says, no, it's 4,900. I called him and said, no, we're not paying 4,900. It was actually just, well, he didn't have these, long story short, then somebody else intervened because I called the higher guy up at a different office. That guy called that guy and told him, I think, you know, you're not gonna charge him, but I haven't got that email back. So I know, he didn't give an answer either. I'm gonna let it lie. I'm not contacting nobody no more. I've done 5 phone calls and it's up, the sign's there. I mean, see what happens. Is that all right? I mean,
I think if you got a verbal, it would good, you know, until they get something right.
and I got another email that said the other guy, he's gonna waive the fee. Now whether that, whatever. But that's it. So they come and arrest me, they'll come and arrest me, I guess. Parks and Rec, Vic.
So normally each month I include the meeting minutes in the packet, but I did not this time because they are published on the Parks and Rec website. So you can look at the March approved meeting minutes and the April unapproved out there. Last month, you recall that you approved a couple of lawn mowing arrangements with Anthony's for this facility and for Cardin. And you also told me if we need to do any mowing between now and the next meeting, allow them to do the other properties, and they have done that. And they have also submitted bids for each of those properties. So if these bids meet with your approval, we should deal with that. In that packet, there was a letter of thanks for the business that we've provided already, along with a list of the available services. There are proposals for Felbeck, Glen, Hilltop, and Clark, which are both road ends, and North Point, which is the parking lot. Those files are attached. And another attachment, Amber, if you were able to get it in there, okay, great. Ever since we put together those 5 picnic tables out at North Point, I'm hoping they don't get stolen. Now, that could be a little neurotic on my part, but at Glen and at Hardin, they're sort of off the beaten path a little bit, but easily accessible. So I had them give you guys a bid for putting in some sonotubes and a, concrete, just to anchor them. I don't know if that's necessary, to tell you the truth, because at Fellback, it's not, but it's there for your consideration. For $1,000, he would anchor the 2 at Glen and the one that is now at,
How heavy are those?
They're very heavy. I mean, I can lift them up, but to get them up like this high over a fence, that's why I don't think we need to worry about it out at North Point, because they're gonna be behind a fence. But, that one you could drive right up to if you were so inclined. But again, that's your guys' call, whether you think it's worth $1,000 for security or not. Maybe.
Well, on that one, why don't we chain it to a tree?
Well, that would be very cumbersome. The trees are a long way away. I mean.
But is that cement that it's sitting on?
No, that's packed down.
Oh, that's okay, never mind.
That'll work for a wheelchair, but
Okay.
it's packed down stone.
Are you requesting that? What's your opinion?
This is
I know.
I've only been here 25 years. You've been here longer. So I've only had my house broken into once. So whatever you guys think, it's $1,000 if you want to. We spent $5,700 or $800 a table.
I guess.
Or what? Is it worth $1,000?
700 apiece?
No,
About $800 a piece, 5,700.
You wanna let it go and see if we lose one for 800, or you wanna put holes in the ground?
I'd be in favor of putting the concrete.
Anchor.
That's what I would be in favor of, but what does the board want to do?
I don't know. Do you think really somebody's gonna steal a picnic table? Maybe I'm just naive. I don't know.
They haven't at right here at Feldeck, which is right there. I mean, it's anchored in the mud. I could pick it up myself. So could be.
He's just
total-
bringing it up.
Just bring it
Yeah.
I think you go for a season and see what happens. I find it hard to believe somebody's gonna back up and steal it.
I had $150 worth of apples stolen and $200 of cash out of a cash box. at
What
the
if you
farm,
just did
so-
one? Would they just do this
But
one?
that's
This
a
is-
heavy picnic
Oh,
table.
Oh, they'll do however.
This is the most vulnerable. The ones at North Point, I don't think are.
The other point is, no, the only other two were at Glen.
Glen.
You know, Glen's kind of got that grass parking lot. There'll be two right next to the creek there.
How about we do this one? I think that's kind of easier, because you can back right up to that one, I mean, really, right? Oh,
Yeah, you'd have to have a pickup or a trailer, or a utility trailer.
A trailer more than a pickup truck.
yeah, roll the dice, we have insurance.
Yeah. Okay, I mean,
I mean-
I'm not proposing, I just
You
threw it
know,
out.
we have insurance, I mean, if they
It's
stole
so
it,
deductible.
I just,
I don't know what the, you
I
trust
think,
people.
yeah, I think there's other things we could spend money on.
You're at the public for 40 years, you won't be safe.
Well, one of those cases where you damned if you do and you don't.
Yeah, it's, if
Pass?
one goes missing, then
What,
hey.
pass then? Pass? Cindy, pass?
I'd say for now.
Okay. Go ahead, next.
Well, but you have the other contracts you gotta decide on for the lawn mowing.
And let's see, you did, road ends, we didn't sign that one.
Yeah, there's Feldeck, Glen, Hilltop, and Clark Road ends in North Point parking lot. They're like $25.
Yeah, you just want mowing. You don't want the cleanup and all that stuff, right? Just the mowing.
Well, I did have them do cleanup at Glen, and we just had them clean up all of the trash down at Cardin after the big hailstorm. So there are gonna be occasions when you have to do cleanup. But I mean, if you look at the prices for the lawn mowing, which is what this contract really is.
Yeah.
It's $25 for one, $25, I
I think
mean,
it's fairly reasonable, not very reasonable.
it's cheaper than we paid last year's contract.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Someone making a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept
To
the
accept
road
it.
ends.
For mowing?
Well, let's do all the Anthony's in one bucket.
Can we do them all together in one motion?
I
Or do you
don't
have to
think
do
you can. You wanna accept Anthony's bids for the mowing on the three things?
For Clark Road ends, for Feldeck Park, Glen Park, Hilltop Road, what the heck is Hilltop Road in?
It's the road end that's below Hilltop Road. It's the two road ends that you
Way out
showed.
there in the Gingleweed?
No, right off
The
Portage
two that
Point
you
Drive.
showed me, two to the left on Portage Point Drive, the
Just
two
down past,
Oh, okay, Hilltop Road
bed and breakfast.
and North Point Park,
Yes.
that's it,
I'll make that motion.
Second, Bob?
second,
Thank you, Bob.
Motion to accept all Anthony's bids,
all of those that are listed.
Or lawn mowing.
except all road ends.
No,
Discussion.
they're not all road ends.
No, it's just for mowing,
All,
actually, mowing.
he should have.
There's actually 5 on here.
Yeah, there's
There's,
five.
there's Feldeck, Glen,
Let's list them then.
Hilltop, Clark, and North Point.
Okay,
That's
did you
what's
get
there.
that, Amber?
So I got Clark, Feldock, Glen, and Hilltop,
And North Point.
and North Point.
Point. There
Are
you
you
go.
going to put the amount in the motion?
Well,
Record.
The contract has it in it, and there's not like a full amount, because we don't know how much they're gonna mow out
Okay.
there.
Accept you can accept their bid at the dollars per visit. How's
Yeah.
that?
The one of the
Makes
big
more
things
sense,
here
right.
is 25
Yeah.
cost per lawn cutting. That's weeding, mulching done at an hourly rate of $86 an hour, two main. crews.
Accepted the contract for lawn
With
mowing.
the prices for hourly and visits, anyway.
They're just accepting those, or not. Okay. Any other discussion? None, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That's carried.
Bylaws, the next item was, recommended amendments to the bylaws for Parks and Rec. It is a lot of clerical things, changing the word commission to committee, those are all identified in red. There were some other minor, edits. There was the addition of an officer called, program director.
For which,
I didn't see
I
any
didn't see that
bylaw
on the
amendments.
yeah,
I don't
all I
think
got is those.
I don't think I made it in the packet, but
Oh.
Actually, I didn't see that either.
Damn. Okay.
No,
Can we do that next month?
bylaws.
That's not critical, is it?
Then the only other thing is a couple of items that you should be aware of, Ed and Amber are, but for the whole board. There is a trail system grant update. We had a deadline on May sixth to submit a grant to the Michigan Health Endowment Fund. We really needed the result of the feasibility study that you guys approved last month, but will not get until probably 2 months from now. But the problem is it had to be submitted by the sixth. And so, Rick Almadine, who's taken lead on this, made that submission, doing the best he can. So we have to have those expectations that we didn't really have all we needed, but if we miss the deadline, then we're out for 2 or 3 years. So we submitted that. There's been a lot of collaboration, both with David Planning, MCCF, Manistee Recreation Commission, and we've had requests for meetings from Smart Trails, Manistee Road Commission, County Road Commission, and Manistee County. So everybody's geeked about it. We submitted the bid. We wanted you to know that we did. We'll see what happens. And then we also elected officers last month. So I remain chair, Michelle's vice chair, secretary is Wemlinger, and the new program director, should you approve that, is Michelle. That's it.
So, since Al is no longer township board representative to the Parks Committee, but he's still gonna stay on, we need to appoint a board representative for the Parks and Rec Committee. We do that at the next meeting, or?
Have volunteers?
You need to appoint one for, planning too,
Planning?
planning.
That's true.
Invasives. Use that too.
Next month. So who wants to do all that?
I would
Can't
do
ask
Parks,
you.
but the Friday morning meetings are hard for me.
We can change meetings. I'm not married to Friday mornings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that one, if nobody else wants to.
Okay, what about planning? Well, we're still short, well,
I do planning.
okay, but we're still gonna have another trustee. But maybe we can just appoint him and not even ask. Whoever gets elected, we'll appoint them to these things. In the meantime,
That's how it works.
you would do planning in the meantime?
Sure.
Okay, very good.
Thanks for me. I mean, a whole.
And what else, one?
Bob can do
Invasive?
invasive, just to
No,
finish
no,
out his term.
No, but we don't have to have somebody on invasive.
Do we, or do we not?
We should.
We should, but Al was gonna stay, but he's not our,
He's not on the
He's not a
board.
board
not a
representative.
board representative anymore.
Don't look at me.
One of the meetings. For the base.
You didn't have it before. When I was on the basic,
No, we didn't for a while, then we put Al on there. I think, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, hell.
but that was after.
I think when we revise the bylaws, I'd have to check them. I think it, so there needs to be a township board rep on it.
Okay, let's put that on the agenda for next month. Appointment there and can talk.
I think it's.
When do they meet? Is that a set meeting date for them? I don't know.
For zoning there is.
No, for evasive.
It's not said. It's like monthly, they'll come in and make one for like the next month.
But it's not the
They've
same
made-
day. It's not the same day of the month, okay. Just put it on for next month. We'll get by a month without it. I don't hear anybody volunteering, so.
Can we, is this the time to talk
You wanna
about?
get on 2 boards right away? 2 meetings?
I'm only two.
Okay. You wanna put her on there, it's up to me, it's not up to me.
What were you gonna say though?
I wanted to talk about some planning and zoning issues, but I don't know, I don't see an item for it, so can we talk about that when we're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you wanna do it? You wanna do 2?
I'll do it. I mean.
We can always reappoint after
Invasive,
the
I
while.
don't
Okay,
know when
okay,
the
how about
meeting
if
is,
she's
that's
volunteering,
I
I'll do
can
that.
get
You'll have to
you
give it to Amber
contact
when the
with them.
meeting dates are, cause I don't know when they are, they
Planning,
change.
I know.
Yeah,
And that
planning's pretty well set. Okay, thank you. How about planning and zoning? What do you wanna talk about? We can talk about a bunch.
Yeah, well, so there's a lot of interest in property in the township, and I think we need to somehow do a little bit better job of communicating with the public, and we can do some stuff on the website that, you know, there's things you have to do before you just start going out and bulldozing your property or putting things in or whatever. I mean, there's an order and there's permits you need to get, and we tend to have a lot of people that skirt that at times. An example, and this may not necessarily be a zoning issue right now because that's not covered in their contract, but there's somebody in the wetlands bulldozing stuff on Portage Point Drive right now. So I don't know if it's up to us to contact Eagle or how that works, but it's something that they shouldn't be doing until they have a determination whether that's actually a wetland or not, I think. Maybe Eagle say, no, they can knock trees down, I don't know. But it's things like that that our contract with the county doesn't cover. And we probably ought to have a process or an understanding of what that looks like. But I also have concerns that, and I mentioned this before when we renewed the contract, I don't think that they're out in the township enough looking around, checking on the status of permits, making sure that they're following up. I just get that feeling when looking at stuff, and maybe they're gonna claim that the contract doesn't cover that, but it feels like when we had an in-house zoning administrator, they were keeping a little bit better pulse on that, and we pay them a lot of money. So I don't know how we resolve that, I just bring it up, maybe it can be conversation at a future meeting, but.
So I've had those conversations there with, Katie. Jody's been here now, actually looking around,
That's good,
twice since she's out here more.
okay.
The property on Portage Point Drive, I drove by that, I don't know who, if I drove by, if somebody called me, and I was on Thursday, what day was that?
Right in the middle of our.
Yeah, what day was that? Wednesday?
No, it was Tuesday, the day after.
Tuesday, so I called the county to see if there was a permit issued, there wasn't a permit issued. And I went out there to see what he was doing, he's pushing trees out, and so then I called Katie, and then she called Eagle, cause the guy told me, Eagle told him it was okay. Which in fact is actually a true statement, Eagle said that was okay, they don't classify that as a wetland.
That's hard to believe.
And right now, that's what, so far, but he needed a soil erosion permit, so they put a stop work order on Friday. And then checked out with this Eagle to see if there was anything, if he was telling the truth, and that was a true statement. He got all the paperwork to fill out his, permit for soil erosion. He's gonna build two houses, a house and a guest house, and he's pulling his permits, land use permit for the house and a guest house and a soil erosion.
So the
permit.
question would be, shouldn't you, in a situation where it's borderline, have to prove that it has a perk test before you start moving ahead? And maybe maybe they can raise the drain field.
Okay, who's called?
Well, I don't know, we used to have a document, and maybe we still do, that said, here's the order you need to get the permits before, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it listed all. So I don't know if we still hand that out.
There is one on the website that says building in Onekama Township,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah, there
not
is.
just for, you know,
It'll list
anything
the
like
wetland.
that.
You'd have to ask for them.
And I don't know if the county is doing that.
Yeah, they give them a list of everything they need, but he
So-
never
so-
came into the office.
So if that property doesn't perk, or can't be permitted for a septic, but I
Yeah,
don't know if it can or can't.
I don't know.
It just brings up a lot of
Raised
questions
bed
on that
will work.
process. What's that?
A raised bed.
Well, maybe, and that might be the answer, that's adequate, but it's pretty
So you're
low.
gonna go back to the health department, then the whole issue comes back to, look at, they didn't do anything when there was water over septics.
Right.
Right? So why would you think that that wouldn't have a septic tank that would work? I mean, they didn't do anything 5 years ago when the septic tank was covered with a foot of water. They didn't do anything. We have a letter that says over 50% of these aren't functioning at what they should be, what is the standard right now, and nobody, that's okay.
And I'm glad to know that the process worked, and that he pulled the land use permit and all that, that's my.
He is going to do that now, did he not? Here's the sad part, the guy's a builder.
So he didn't do it up front.
No,
Okay, so that's my point, and I don't expect the county to divine that, oh, there's somebody out there now building without a permit. And so I think it's incumbent on the public and also on the township, if we see something like that and.
well, we did, Vic called me and it was 30 seconds, I called them, so that actually worked.
So I think it's, the point is, this has to be somewhat self-policing, because we don't have people,
Right.
you know, walking around everywhere in the township checking on
Ye-
something.
Yes, we do,
We do, we have the public.
yes.
Right.
Mhm.
And that,
Yes.
so I guess I think And there's oftentimes when, like in this case, people assume it's a wetland, and if Eagle says it's not, then the township doesn't have any authority to say, oh, we think it's a wetland, that's an Eagle determination. And sometimes there's confusion on those sorts of things.
Didn't we have an enforcement officer that would go out and do that?
If there's
or-
violations of an existing permit, or.
Yeah, we
So
still
not
did.
if
And we
it's
still,
like they're
this, you
building
gotta,
or-
this gentleman never went to.
I just meant
yeah.
for overall.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
there's an
there's-
enforcement officer.
For,
Zoning.
there's an enforcement officer for zoning issues.
Right.
So
but-
it's different for
what I
like
mean.
short-term rental ordinance and other police power ordinances that we have. That's enforced by the deputy township supervisor or the township supervisor
Correct.
or law enforcement or whoever.
This Eagle thing is not even under our jurisdiction for anything. I just called because it looks like a wetland. It's wet,
Mm.
there's water there. I don't know what, to me, it's a wetland, but they're saying no.
Without ever coming and looking at it.
I don't know that either because a different agency, it wasn't, you know, we don't have any say in
Was
that.
that the Cadillac office that we talked to?
And the guy stopped and he came in and filled out and got all the paperwork from Katie, and then they gave him the
That's-
list you're talking about, they gave it to him.
Okay,
It said all these steps you have to do. They had no knowledge that he was even there until I called him.
so that process, I think works how it should have. I mean,
Yeah.
ideally, you would have done it out in front. So maybe there's gonna be, if there's a more active presence, and that will help allay some of my concerns. I guess the other question is, did the gentleman that was going across township property to get to, it looked like he cut a driveway in now?
I haven't been up there, but they told me what he had to do,
Looked like
and he
there
was
was a
very
Good
apologetic.
access point?
Yeah, he
Okay,
had an easement on his property. It was the easement for the power line.
yeah.
He thought that meant he had the easement to, I think in his own mind, and I give him
So-
the benefit of the doubt.
I feel like we need to, where he has been accessing across the township property, there's now a 2-track there.
We need to get rid of that somehow.
We need to plant bushes across it or something, and so maybe we can get a bid to do that, or I don't know, it looks like a road and people are gonna drive on it, so.
We could just put some pine trees if you wanted.
I think that's what we should.
Okay, I'll talk to, Dutchman, maybe I can get him some
Yeah, I mean,
short,
I'd get something that's not.
4 or 5, 4 foot, 3 foot, just something that,
Which
you know.
property is that?
It's the township property on the corner of Urban Road and 11 Mile, north, I'm sorry, yeah, northwest corner.
I'm done.
You're done? Okay. I agree with you on that. And we need him out here more often. I think Jody's gonna do that, because that's what I've been talking.
That's great, if they do that, I think that's what's needed, so.
The issue he had is we had a zoning administrator who lived here. You just see stuff all the time, and when you don't live here, you don't see, unfortunately, some of the stuff that does happen, so. I didn't go by there. Were they working on that today, that property? No. So he probably doesn't have his
Those gravel in there.
Well, they had,
dumped it already.
at some point from when I saw it to now, they had definitely knocked down some more trees. I don't know when it was done, it was.
Saturday, I think.
Probably.
Well, so they are still listening.
Well, no, I called Monday and said, that's it, tell this guy, so. I think he stopped, I don't know if he pushed any more trees or just moved around the trees that were down, that's why I didn't. It's hard to tell, unless you had time-lapse photography, but. Anyways, I think they're gonna build there. I mean, I think they're gonna be okay, it's my opinion, but. Board review, we don't have anything for board review till July. We've had some people ask, just so it makes the thing that if you have a veterans exemption, you're not gonna get a letter back from the board review anymore. It comes from the assessor. It's granted by the assessor now. It does not go to the board review. But I think some of these veterans are getting a little confused because they didn't get a letter. It was signed by Molly, not by board review. For the last 10, 15 years, it's been coming from the board review. So it's just a simple thing. Recycle. Carl's gonna meet me tomorrow. We're gonna go look at that property. The county property. I think that's our best bet. Instead of us trying to buy a different piece, it's not, I still don't believe it's our responsibility to have a piece of property.
What property is that? Just so I can put it down.
Okay, so it would be north of the fairgrounds.
I know where it is, I just didn't know what to put.
Yeah,
as
well, how
like
do you
as far
say
as
with that?
accurate.
It's the where they're,
County property. On the fairgrounds.
I'll just put that.
That white building right
that white building right there.
It's between that white.
They own all the way back to, how far, right where that pointer is?
No,
Right
that's
here,
wrong.
right?
Yeah.
And then down in here too.
It's right there.
Yeah, so that's the building, but I'm saying they own the property up to where that road is, right,
Yes,
there,
they
kind of. So there's plenty of room for there's plenty of room for anything there. Without spending much money, you don't have to buy the property. You have to put some asphalt in, but actually, we didn't have to do that, just put gravel. It makes way more sense, it's off the beaten path. You don't see it from the highway so bad. You can still put a fence up or a natural, trees or something right there. Anyways, that's all I got. I'll let you know what she says tomorrow. PLA? Oh, Al will be giving the PLA report, but he's not online, is he?
No, band shell.
Oh, the band shell, the PLA didn't do the band shell, did they?
No.
I'll just reach out to the PLA and try to get a report from them each month.
Why don't we do
Put
that?
something in the
Okay,
packet.
so let's do it. Yeah, the band shell's up if you haven't been by and seen it, so. They're putting steel on it tomorrow. The roof is going on tomorrow. Should be done by the end of the day, I would guess. Then are they gonna start on the other one? Have we heard? They know they're raising money for the.
Next
They're
year.
gonna tear, is that next year? Oh, okay.
Next year.
They're gonna tear it down and redo it, right? It's gonna be the same.
It'll match the band shell.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Mhm.
Evasive, we have a report. No,
I did reach out to them and several others and didn't get any response back for reports in the packet or anything.
okay. Well, maybe we'll get a report with our new board member. What's that, Cindy?
Thought I heard somebody.
Yeah, no, I know.
trying to-
There is around it.
Rick's not muted.
Okay, I didn't know if they were trying to say something to us.
Oh, yes.
Okay, public comment. Let's do the owl first. Anybody on? Public comment?
Anybody on the Zoom call want to make any public comments? If you need to unmute yourself if you do. Doesn't look like we have.
I guess that's a no. Okay, anybody here for public comment? Libby?
I'd like to recommend that the township board have a pamphlet, there's a handbook on public meeting act and what is permissible and what is not, and I would like to see the township board familiarize themselves with it and also maybe give it to each of the committee chairs so that we know what is required to, meet the Open Meetings Act on public hearings and such as that.
You mean not township board, you're talking about for like the subcommittees that meet and they're,
Well, I'd like the township board to have or the township office to have a book of how, what is covered and what is not, a copy of the law, so that
oh,
people know what
what constitutes a public open
and
meeting?
where, yes, what the rules are for Open Meetings Act,
Okay,
because it is
We have that available right now
where,
in the safe.
well, okay, that's a whole lot of good.
Highly protected.
Bob.
If you want it, all you gotta do is ask. Yours.
I
so,
think it would be nice, and I would like to have the subcommittees and chairs also have it. There's a good little pamphlet on the Michigan State website. about
oh,
the
okay, I
Open
get it.
Meetings
Now
Act.
I understand where you're going. Okay, now I understand. The way you explained it, I didn't understand that way. Now I get it. I get it now. That's fine.
I just think it would be helpful.
Yeah, we'll put it out, just
Yeah.
if someone has a question about why some of these, because some of the groups don't have to follow Open Meetings Act, but I would encourage them to, but yeah, but they don't have
I think it
to.
would be good for everyone to know what the Open Meeting Act's covered,
We can get
and then,
brochures from
then we
them.
don't have,
No, I agree. Okay,
and there are pamphlets out there because I've looked them up,
okay, very good.
so.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anybody else for public comment? Going? Gone, wow, okay. Correspondence, I don't have any other Nothing. Bills to be paid.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, is there a second? You second?
Ooh, that's the first one.
Wow, write that down. 5:15.
Getting to spell your last name is gonna be.
It's an easy one. Anyways, discussion, none to be heard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that's carried. I don't have anything else unless somebody does. No, none, I'm adjourning. Thank you.